Okay, this is our shed. Some of this stuff was here before we moved in because it is a rental, so we leave it there. I've got quite a few pieces that have just been chilling here and it's just been too cold to work outside. This is a legit antique dresser that I bought off of a guy. I just thought it was really, really cool. He said his family's had it for like 3 generations or something. So step 1 was actually to clear a path because the shed was so full that I had no way of getting the solid wood dresser out all by myself. And step 2 was to do just what my mother and chiropractor always told me and lift with my back. Poetically enough, the back of this piece was also falling apart and had been through quite a few haphazard repairs before it came to moi, so there were a few things I had to undo before I could move forward, like some randomly placed screws and nails and whatnot. But once I had taken care of all of that, it was easy enough to just hammer the slats back into their original position. I got everything up here pretty much lined up and it just needs to be secured. But with it all pushed up and locked in, it does make me wonder why this is so low. This is nailed here and I am pretty dang sure that those are the original nails. But you can see how much space there is left between the bottom plank and this piece. Not really sure what I want to do there. The next thing I'm going to do though, of course, is to wood glue all of my pieces in place. So instead of basically submitting to this being here, I'm just going to chisel out part of that in there so that I can just put it up against this. I'll still be able to screw it in here, which is what's going to make it structurally sound. But there's, as far as I can tell, there's no reason for it to be down that far. So I'm just gonna break the rules. So I couldn't find a chisel, even though I know that Maverick has a bunch of them, but I just grabbed this sharp screwdriver instead. But I was actually kind of scared. I wanted to run, because naturally I'm in a hurry to do this very important thing, but I didn't want to stab myself. And I thought if I hold it either forward or backwards, I can probably stab myself. So instead I ran like this. And I did not stab myself, so I also didn't fall. But got it. All right, and he's ready for, yes, nice and flush. It's looking good. But these guys, I've got both a dovetail joint right there, and it's nailed on both sides of the joint. But these are just, they're not coming out. They're being kind of stubborn. I guess I'm just wondering if I can just put something right there. I have an idea. That'll do, donkey. Do something like this. Maybe turn the bead around a little bit. So after becoming Edward Glue Hands, I just secured it with some tape to hold it still while I put some screws in it to actually secure it. So between that and the wood glue, I felt pretty good about it. And then I glued and nailed the other side. I know that this corner looks sketchy, and that's because it is. That's just a part of restoring old furniture. You make some questionable choices along the way. You just decide that you are capable and just immature enough to forge ahead without any prior knowledge of how to do certain things. I suppose I like to figure these things out on my own. I love the handles. Those are just a really cool antique. I'm pretty sure those are the original knobs. I'm surprised they're not chipped or anything. That one does have a little bit, oh, nope, that one. Right away I'm noticing this nail sticking out, this little backboard area. That's clearly a more modern nail, so I think they tried to fix this at some point. We've got another one over here that's doing the same thing.
So something pretty cool about these drawers is that they actually have a nap joint, also known as pin and cove or scallop and dowel, and this is a joining technique that was only used in North American furniture factories between the years of 1871 and 1900. So I know this dresser is at least 122 years old.
Y'all, I'm in a good mood today because I just figured out that I do still fit into my overalls even though I thought I outgrew them. Check her out. She's ready to work. Let's do this. It is a beautiful day. Our piece has held up quite nicely. Maverick said this screw looks really bad, but screw that. Am I ready to be a father yet? I might still do here is add some wood filler to the crack just so that just so it has that little extra oomph of safety. I don't know. Then we're going to start sanding and painting and getting stuff underway. I am really excited about all of this. All right, now that that's done, that's gonna need to sit for 2 to 6 hours, and then we can sand it. For these fellas, I'm just gonna sand them and paint them. So let's go.
As you guys can see here, this dresser has been painted over a couple of different times, once in black and once in blue. And so that's why we actually ended up having a bit of a mismatch with the color that I used.
Wow. Well, that's a lot lighter than I thought it was. Yep, that makes sense. I mean, they look good. They're just a lot lighter than I anticipated, which of course I don't have to tell you, that's on me. Yep. Okay, I don't really like this blue. In this light, I think the two-tone actually looks okay, but it's not. I spent all morning thinking about if I were to do another color for this, what would it be? I think I have actually settled on like a red. As you guys can probably tell, I like statement pieces. Anytime I go to someone else's house and I see like a colorful piece of furniture, there's just this like weird envious excitement. I'm just like, oh, I want something like that. But what it does is it inspires me, which I wonder how much of inspiration is based in envy. You guys can see I love color. I guess what I was thinking was exactly a satin burgundy. So it looks darker on camera than it does in real life. It is a little bright, but I think I really like it. All right, let's see how it dries. Maybe it'll dry darker. All right, it has dried a little bit darker, and I'm gonna say I'm into it. Let's do it. So I'll come back and do a second coat on those in a little bit, but in the meantime, we are going to get the actual dresser out here. Okay, I finally painted the piece and I really like it. I think I do like it with the wood tops. Okay, so this is what happened before I ran out of paint. I wanted to see it all together, and I put it together, and then I tried a blue top, which honestly, I don't totally hate the way that looks, but I think once you add the knobs, it was just going to end up looking a little patriotic. But then I found that I still had this gloss dark walnut color, and it's like an enamel, and I really like that. You see the wood, it looks like wood. I like that. Before I move on too far, I'm going to go ahead and give the drawers their protective clear coat of enamel, and I'm gonna do this, I think we're gonna do this matte. Keep it nice, satiny. but I think that this nice dark walnut color has turned out really nice so far. So we definitely need to let this dry thoroughly before doing anything to it. Alrighty, and the knobs are on, and there's a couple of spots still drying, like right here where the matte varnish got put down. So I'm going to let everything fully dry. Yeah, so it's been about 2.5 weeks since I listed this piece. I do believe that I could sell it if I were patient enough, but I do want to get it out sooner. And I don't want to have to like come down a crazy amount on cost. I think what needs to happen is I need to repaint it a neutral color. And I think that's okay. I've been watching a lot of videos on how to sell furniture on Marketplace. Even though I have done it quite a few times, I've never tried to get that much. The rule number one, at least when you're starting out, but I think in general, is to paint a neutral color. And obviously I did not do that. I do like the red. I don't know that I love the red with the brown anymore. I think this could be someone's dream piece, but I also think I can make it better. So let's go. Where are your goggles? I don't know if I'm just the least patient person in the world. I'd love to hear some feedback. How many times do you skip vital steps like eye protection because you think I'm gonna do it quickly? So like in the time that it would take me to go get the eye protection and put it on and come over here, I could have already been finished, and my time is so valuable that I'm not gonna do that, and I'm just going to spray it anyway. Anybody else? Does anybody else do dumb crap like that? It wasn't that I like sprayed it into my eye, it was that the wind picked it up and I walked through a mist of the stripper and like it instantly started stinging, and I was just like, wow, I could have very easily avoided that safety hazard. Gonna throw out a little PSA there. You've got enough time. If you've got enough time to do the work you're gonna do, you've got enough time to take the safety measure. Let's stay accountable from here on out. Just pray to God that I don't lose my sight. Okay. Now I know when you guys see me doing something this beautiful, you might wanna ask, like, Laura, how are you so good at making over furniture and making it beautiful? It's a gift. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. After multiple rounds of stripping and sanding, this is, I think, as good as it's gonna get. Neither of my sanders will fit in there, and so I hand sanded it to a certain point, but this is what the other side looks like. So we're gonna get going on the side. And finally, we are ready. I'm doing this in gloss Dover white. Oh my gosh, this has taken forever to get here. Oh. I don't have anything to say. I'm just having a good hair day, so I want to record it. I was able to do almost the entire first coat with one can. So that tells me I can do almost an entire second coat with one can as well, which this will absolutely need because you are seeing that bare wood grain coming through, which I am totally fine with the grain coming through, but it's the way that the color is soaking up instead of course, sitting on the wood. The color is seeping into the cracks, of course, instead of just sitting on top of a
like one smooth layer of paint before it. So I definitely am wondering why I went through all the trouble to do it like this. I think it just felt good to like strip down such an old piece and take off all of its years of makeup and then just give it like one little, it's like your friend who just wears too much makeup and you're like, let me help you with that. But before I do, I've got to take off all of your makeup before. It's a pretty dumb analogy. It's 4 days later and I finally got more spray paint. So I'm going to change out of my new sweater and favorite jeans and we're gonna get started. Look at this big loop I have in my bun. Just keep grabbing it and tucking it into the bobby pin because I have class. Classy guys. Certainly not my cleanest line.